Hello, and welcome to Becoming Market Ready, just a resource designed for new and beginning vendors that will be starting at farmers markets. And welcome, and thanks for joining me today. My name is Jess Land, and I am the market director over at Oregon City Farmers Market. And it's exciting to share this with the folks at Montevilla and hope that you will find some benefit from it. So I've put together a little bit of a spreadsheet, or not a spreadsheet, I'm sorry, a slideshow here for us this morning to get us started. So we are grateful that you are interested in joining farmers markets. We know that they're essential just because of contributing to our local economies, providing a venue for our small farms and businesses to sell, decreasing effects of climate change, and acting as a point of local food access, especially for food insecure households. So we're grateful to have you and know that if you are joining a market, it means you have a product that you are ready to bring to a retail setting. And so we look forward to seeing how you develop that and design relationships with your customers by inviting them into a new culinary exploration. And there are things that you will bring to the market that no one else can in terms of the knowledge or information you have to share. And one thing to keep in mind is farmers market customers really want to know the person who grows or makes their food. And so it's a wonderful opportunity to develop that community and relationships for consistent and repeat business. So we love to see vendors engaging and connecting with consumers and helping to create an inclusive and equitable market. You will see, based on your market handbook that will be available at the market you're attending, the different rules that Oregon has set forth for operating at farmers markets. And there's a variety of them, whether it's the cottage baking bill or getting your scale certified. There's a variety of things. Each market will have a vendor handbook, like I said, with links attached to obtaining this information. And I'm speaking specifically of Montevilla Farmers Market, who have a wonderful link resource on their vendor page that will take you to these different departments in Oregon Ag. In addition to the Oregon Farmers Market Association, which is a fantastic resource for new and beginning vendors to also obtain information and rules surrounding the selling in a public setting at a market. Oregon Department of Agriculture will be your contact if you are selling produce. You can get your scale certified through the Weights and Measures Department. Your market will require a liability insurance policy, and it will require you naming the market as additionally insured. Egg sales will have their own specific set of rules in terms of labeling and keeping them at a temp-controlled environment. Farms that might be bringing let's say you're growing onions and then pickling them and bringing them to market for an additional source of revenue. Then you have what is known as the Farm Direct Marketing Law. Whether your bakery is exempt from licensing, depending on what you're creating, all of this again will be available through the Department of Ag and again, links through the handbooks. So you'll want to familiarize yourself on the rules and regulations of markets in order to maintain a healthy and safe environment in terms of food safety. Before applying to a market or definitely before attending, make sure to do your research. So know the location of the market, know its days and times. Some are year round, some markets are seasonal only, some offer more than one market, depending on different locations or days of the week. So make sure you know your days and times because often that can change with summer versus winter season. We're we need vendors to read your market handbook in its entirety and to make sure that you familiarize yourself with the market's rules and fees. If you are looking to start selling at farmers markets, make sure that you don't overcommit by applying to multiple markets. This is especially prudent if you are not sure about your staffing capabilities or logistics in terms of buying equipment, being at two markets on the same day that are scheduled at the same time. Make sure that you gauge what your capabilities are. You can always come back and readdress if you need to add more dates or additional markets. But we find that if you start slow and build from there, it does allow for a bit more longevity in being able to make your commitments. Make sure that you're attending your market orientations and that you're reading market emails. Market managers will only send emails when it's prudent information that you need to know. And so make sure that you're keeping up on reading them so that you can stay up to date with any news or changes and updates that the market has to send out. Visit the market before you attend. This allows you to get an idea of what the market layout looks like, what items are being offered, what's the vibe and the demographic, how big is it, what's the setting, what's parking look like. It really helps to kind of give you a visual of what you'll be coming into and introduce yourself to some new vendors that you will be joining. So always encourage that and identify who the market manager is and the staff. Those will be the folks you're dealing with on a regular basis. So it's really nice to put a face to the name and get to know your new market community. And sometimes board members will shop the market, and that's another opportunity to meet the folks that govern the market as well. So in terms of market equipment today, I want to share with you some things that you're going to want to have ready to go prior to your first day of attendance. And one of those is going to be a market canopy. The ones I'm showing here are individual 10 by 10 size. And this is basically the common canopy size that is mostly seen in markets. Large produce farms generally will have extended ones or the 20 by 20s, but a 10 by 10 is a great way to start out. And a 10 by 10 is generally the space size that you are renting for your booth space at the market. A couple of brands that I personally have found success with is the Caravan Canopies and the Urmax. Both of those seem to hold up really well in different types of weather. You'll see here, these are steel framed canopies. They have adjustable legs and they have a locking mechanism to put up the top. Each canopy leg will need a canopy weight to help keep it in place in the event of adverse weather. And living in Oregon, you will know that can come very suddenly. All markets will require weights. Based on the market, that weight requirement may differ. Some are 25 pounds each, some are less. Make sure that you are aware of what that market requires. Do not show up without weights. It really is a potential for danger because they are known to blow very easily and can hit customers, fellow vendors, other equipment vehicles. So that is an absolute must that you're going to have those. And there's different kinds of weights that you can get. Some, like the ones described here, or shown here, excuse me, are simply made out of PVC pipe and filled with gravel and sealed at the bottoms. There's also like a sandbag style that have Velcro and strap around the base of the market or the canopy legs. There's also individual weights that fit into the feet of the legs, and you'll want to stack those. When in doubt, make sure that you ask if you're not sure. So make sure to ask market staff to make sure you are in compliance. If you're bringing weights, make sure that your name, phone number, and or business name is indicated on the weights in case they get left behind, which has on occasion happened. That way we know who they belong to. You'll want to have your table set up. And in this photo here, this is generally a really great way to do them. They're just the metal folding tables. The legs fold underneath, which is really convenient for hauling in your vehicle, and they break down nicely. So generally 6 to 8 feet are really great. I really like to encourage tablecloths that have more of a wipeable surface, even like an oilcloth is shown here, or a type of vinyl. It helps wick any water or rain that might come your way. Also easier to clean. You're going to want to have some um, disinfectant spray or wipes to make sure you're keeping a clean um, market tables. In addition, you'll probably want a chair in case you need to sit down for a break when it's quiet. Um, a cash box, make sure that has change in it and ready to go. We can't tell you enough how often somebody will present a $50 bill at opening bell, and it's so hard to make change from the get-go. So we do encourage that you have that available. And in addition, a square processor to process credit or debit cards. Bring it charged. And I like to encourage a backup battery so that in the event the processor uh, loses a charge or wasn't charged properly the night before, you can still process your cards thanks to having a backup. What is sometimes helpful, especially during the hot sunny days, is a type of shade cloth or sidewalls that can kind of help as a barrier against the elements. They come in a variety of styles. Some are like a heavier mesh that still allow some breeze to pass through, but it keeps the direct sunlight out of your booth. The other kind are the shade cloth sidewalls, and it is the same material as the canopy tops. All of these have Velcro straps that will allow you to strap it around the legs of your canopy. I don't recommend sidewalls in any type of wind. Sidewalls tend to act as almost a kite and will carry that wind and can sometimes drag your canopy. So I always recommend sidewalls only if it is not windy and if you are using it on a still day to protect yourself from the sunshine. Something that's also helpful, and it's entirely up to you, but anti-fatigue mats can sometimes be of benefit, especially when you're standing all day. And most likely, if you're coming to market, you've probably already put in a full day prior to getting there. So that can kind of help just decrease some of that friction on your feet against the pavement or gravel or whatever the surface is that you're standing on. Having a first aid kit is really handy, along again with some cleaning supplies. Generally, information booths will also have a first aid kit, but it is often difficult to leave your booth. In terms of market safety, anytime that you were to leave your booth, always let a neighboring vendor know. If you have to use the restroom or grab some food or whatnot, always take your cash box with you. Never leave anything of value in terms of money behind. So wherever you go, that goes with you. There is always also keep your cash box and monies close by and within view. There are theft occurrences at times, unfortunately, even at farmers markets, and we want to protect you from being susceptible to that. And again, if you leave your booth, make sure you let somebody know. Coolers you will want to have, especially if you are selling perishable items such as dairy, eggs, obviously your meats. And like, let's see, for instance, eggs, you're welcome to use, let's say you have a carton of eggs to display so your customers can see, what they look like. But make sure that all of your stock and inventory that's for sale is stored safely in coolers at a temp stable, in a temp stable cooler. And things like produce boxes in your market booth, make sure those have a barrier underneath so they're not sitting flush with the ground. That is also just for a food safety perspective there. All right. And when you're coming on to a new market, there's a variety of market online application platforms. And depending on the market will depend on the software that they're using. And many are Manage My Market. Montevilla is, I believe they use Farm Spread, so there can be a variety of ones, but each business needs to establish an account. And market websites will have a for vendor page, and it's full of wonderful information on the application process, what types of vendors are being accepted, how they're being prioritized, and what fees and schedules are like. There is often an application fee due to markets paying for that software, so be aware of that. And any barriers one may face with accessing these platforms, we encourage you to reach out to that market so that we can provide alternate resources to help support you. And as new and incoming vendors, if you're selling EBT approved foods or you are a produce vendor, you will want to be familiar with the different wonderful programs that markets are grateful to offer, thanks to funding from the Farmers Market Fund, the GusNIP grants, and additional Farm Direct coupons from the Department of Human Services. So Double Up Food Bucks is specifically for produce vendors, and this allows a dollar for dollar match up to $20 in produce coupons when folks use their SNAP card at the market. So those come in the form, like I said, of paper coupons. Sometimes there's additional grant funding for SNAP matches, such as Metro grants. Markets also are a venue for farms to accept Farm Direct and Senior Farm Direct coupons to access fresh produce. Many markets have what we call, sometimes it's known as Power of Produce or the 2 Bite Club or Market Sprouts. Again, those are children's nutritional education programs, some that come with tokens for children to buy their own produce. These are all programs that may be offered at varying markets, and so you want to be familiar with those. It's a wonderful way to just provide a healthy and local access point for folks receiving benefits. And it's just a real pleasure to be able to offer these to, again, provide an inclusive environment, especially for food insecure households. So we're excited and grateful for these opportunities. In terms of vendor etiquette, it's real important for all vendors to be arriving on time and to follow your market rules as set forth in the handbook from the particular market you're attending, paying booth fees on time, avoiding late cancels or no-shows. That can really determine your ability to sell in the future if those are repeat offenses. Markets rely on your word when you say you're going to be there, and often with a late cancel or a no-show, it's beyond the time that that space can be filled. And so because that space has been reserved for you, to forfeit it affects vendor consistency and market consistency. It also affects market revenue. Make sure you're a good neighbor and keep your stall clean and orderly. Follow the end of day criteria as far as when to bring your vehicle back into the lot, how to load and unload in the morning and afternoons, and to clean up after yourself. Often markets are operating in a space that has been provided perhaps by a college or the county or a private owner or the city. And as their guests, we want to make sure that we're establishing a good positive relationship that will have future benefits. So We like to encourage that. When you're setting up your market booths, appearance is everything. Market analysis shows that bigger is better, and that customers tend to approach a booth when it's full, robust, larger in size, especially when the appearance is really colorful and abundant. Things such as varying heights or unique baskets, creative displays, or kind of shelves is just a real appealing market setting. Prominent signage is essential. You're going to want to have a banner with your business name and tagline or location. If you're certified organic, you'd want to have that on there. Or if you're uh, animal welfare certified. Those are all really good things to be sharing with your consumers. Minimalism is great, a streamlined approach, but when it comes to displays, make sure that is looking abundant and colorful. And in terms of signage, we talked about the banner, and often those banners will have, you can get them made with grommets in the corner, and that allows you to strap them to within the canopy legs so that it's highly visible for folks. To individualize your items with prices is wonderful, especially something like a laminated menu card, because you can reuse them by just a dry erase pen. And as you can see here in this example of Wild Roots Farm, they've got their logo, and having a good logo really it creates brand recognition. And then they have what the item is, and in this term, it's chives with blossoms. You've got your price. Another really neat feature is to describe the item, and in this case, well, it has a delicate onion flavor. Some will say these roast beautifully, or this particular potato variety is great for mashing. Things like that to really inspire some creativity and get some ideas rolling for how that consumer can use your item. If it's a prepared food, ideas of how to serve it. If it's a pickled veggie, what would it be great topped on, like in terms of a ferment or something like that? Now, depending on the market, another neat feature is if you can offer a little bit like an A-frame chalkboard, and those are really handy if you're describing a new product you're highlighting or something new that you've brought this week. But always make sure with your market about placement of that A-frame, because the goal is keeping market aisles open and clear and your items in your own space. So those are all good things to clarify with your market before just setting up. And again, just kind of basing off of abundance. Just a neat example of some real beautiful color that's up front and just really inspiring. You can see these just different varying shelves and baskets, and this is just a little inspiring photo. In your product placement, when you have your booth set up and your tables out, it's really great to stage your product um, by your flavors and textures and colors. You can see here with some winter storage crops, just kind of that color pop and different varietals that are grouped together. But when you're and you can see that is at the forefront. So in your booth, you're going to want to keep things like your utility boxes, storage, personal items out of sight so as not to distract. You want your product that you're selling to be the showcase up front. Keep the clutter hidden. And keeping your booth clean and tidy also sends a message to the customer that you have an exemplary product, and just the labeling and display is just so enticing, a customer can't resist. And it also allows what you're selling to be the star of the show versus distractions of clutter. Earth-friendly packaging is really warranted in markets and highly encouraged, if not required. If you're serving hot food, you're going to want to be familiar with what durable dining is. in terms of produce, using compostable produce bags, encouraging folks to bring their own. Some other ideas that are nice, if you're bundling together, a bundle of carrots or leeks or herbs, consider swapping out like rubber bands to bundle produce. Um, Consider like compostable twine, things like that. Again, encouraging your customers to bring their own bag or these nice produce bags that are washable. If your market allows it, for you to sell your own merchandise, often vendors will have shopping bags with their own logo and they can sell, or direct folks to like your market information booth if they have shopping bags for sale. Reusable jars is another really great way to consider, especially when it comes to swapping out product like coffee beans. We have a yogurt vendor that gives back your deposit on the jar when you return it, and it goes towards your next purchase, things like that. Biodegradable bags, things that are just going to be earth friendly and sustainable to keep our markets a climate friendly environment. Market data shows that a vendor who engages with customers will sell more product. So when your booth is set up and you are ready to go for the day, give yourself some extra time to kind of take a breath, take a look at your setup, make sure you have everything you need, and just allow yourself that extra time in the morning to arrive. And I know mornings can be really chaotic, so you deserve that opportunity to step back, evaluate, and breathe. So when possible, try to remain standing as much as you can. Or at least seated next to your display, so that when customers are walking by, they can see a person at the booth. Often there is obviously loss of sale when the vendor is missing from their booth. So you want to make sure that you are there, or you have somebody there if you have to step out, or somebody such as a fellow vendor that can say, so-and-so has stepped out for a moment, they'll be right back. Or even if you're really stuck, a sign, back in 5 minutes. Try to stay off your phone during these peak times. Obviously, you're going to want to be sharing on social media and maybe answering any market questions from a customer or whatnot, but do try to keep it to a minimum. It is just another way to stay engaged and present. If you send employees to work for you, make sure the employees are well versed in what you are selling. And we're talking about pear varieties, or where you sourced your fruit for your jam, or how you make that hummus, um, what goes into the granola, where are you sourcing? Everything that you would want a customer to know, make sure your employee knows as well. It's really important to have somebody that can represent you to the fullest capacity in order to maintain and increase sales. Growing practices, while I'm thinking about it, is another biggie that your employee will want to be well aware of just how, where you're growing, how you're growing, all that good information that, again, is just another connecting thread to relationship building with your community. Sampling is great. It's a fantastic way to encourage customers, especially as a new vendor, to try your product. We know, I always say a customer's favorite word is free. And especially if you have a little higher price point of an item, often customers will want to try it before they commit to purchasing it. And so samples can be small. You don't need to be offering a meal, just a taste to give folks an idea of what it is that you are offering. It can be, if it's fresh produce and you're selling berries, folks love to try a berry. In this case, this vendor, Campfire Farms, does a variety of salamis. So we can see a perfect example of how that sample is being served. Zach is wearing gloves. He's using disposable toothpicks. He's handing it individually to the customer. He also will have a waste basket to drop your compostable cup or toothpick into. The garbage you will need to take out on your own. Do not use your market trash. The garbage you generate, you take out with you. Make sure you have a hand washing station if you're sampling. And that generally comes in a type of water container with a spigot, in addition to paper towels, hand soap, and a bucket to contain the gray water after washing your hands. Check with your market as far as disposal of that gray water and what their policy is at end of day. And you will want to be washing in between your sampling. Another nice idea if you're sampling like relishes or things like that, often vendors will provide a cracker that can be used as kind of the vessel, if you will, for the item that obviously you can't put on a toothpick. And again, the compostable cups is another great option too. With your advertising, social media can be a real time guzzler, but it's really essential if you're going to be growing your business. So as a new vendor, you're going to want to post frequently, share your content with the market, cross promote, tag, use hashtags just to generate engagement. Markets are great also about wanting to promote and share you as well. So it can develop into a really nice cross promotion opportunity to build, again, some engagement. Consider the value of a newsletter to your customers and a variety of platforms to share your messaging. You certainly don't have to do all the platforms. They're overwhelming, but do use some of them. And it's just a great way to showcase your products and your new business. I always like to tell folks this quote that I really enjoy by Alice Waters, which is go to the farmer's market and buy food there. You'll get something delicious. So I wanted to thank you for taking the time to listen in today and just wishing you the best of luck as you move forward in a new exciting endeavor at farmers markets. It is a beautiful space and one that is full of vitality. And so necessary and such an essential resource for our community. And Oregon agriculture is abundant. We are grateful to have such a robust food sources, and we wish you the best of luck this season. And of course, any questions that come up or concerns, make sure to access your market handbook, reach out to your market for information. Another great resource is Oregon Farmers Market Association, which also offers a wealth of knowledge for new and becoming vendors. So thank you so much. And again, my name is Jess Land. I appreciate your time today. Take care and thanks again.